Hi, this is Jason Witt from Maton Nashville, a division of Artisan Guitars in Franklin, Tennessee. And today I have singer-songwriter and guitar extraordinaire Joe Robinson. How's it going, man?
Hey, Jason. Good, thanks. Thanks for having me in.
Anytime, anytime. Now, we would love to talk about your new record, which actually came out on Friday, but you're doing the release party tonight at the Franklin Theater. New album coming out, Undertones.
Undertones. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's been a labor of love making this album.
Oh, I bet. Jeez.
And tonight's gonna be great. You know, hometown shows. I consider Nashville my hometown.
Oh, definitely.
And I live in Franklin, so hometown shows are really special. I've got so many friends coming out, and it's gonna be a great night.
Now, how long have you lived here for?
I've been here for 9 years now.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I would consider that hometown, too.
Yeah.
Now, how would you compare this record to the last one? I mean, the last one came out in 2015, right?
Yeah, I recorded 3 EPs, with the last one coming out in 2015. And the EPs were more of an experimental approach where I was kind of just trying different things with programming and electronic music and like playing the bass and drums and everything myself and just kind of, you know, exercising my creativity. But this album feels like a cohesive collection of songs. It's recorded in a cohesive way. And to me, there's a different mentality with making an EP than an album. It's like an EP is a snapshot of one concept, but an album is like a body of work. The songs there has to be a thread through the songs and a consistent kind of production aesthetic in my approach. So this album really feels like more of a statement. It feels like my first album in many ways.
Really?
Yeah. So I feel like it's my debut as a real songwriter and singer-songwriter.
Oh, that's great. Jeez. Yeah, there definitely is a flow to the record after listening to it yesterday. It was a very, very nice flow. And it seemed like the songwriting kind of went up a definite notch. Yeah. As well as the unbelievable guitar underneath all of the vocals. It's really cool because you got this whole almost like a lead finger style player playing with the vocalist, and that's just something that just blows me away.
Thanks, man. Well, yeah, I enjoy coming up with, you know, interesting guitar parts. I feel like that's kind of my signature, and you know, I try and take on as much responsibility as I can. If I'm the guy writing the songs and telling the stories and singing them, I want to be able to do those things as well as be the kind of guitarist with a signature way of playing. So if I can get all that to kind of just mesh together in the right way, I think I'll have something that is really different and it's my signature thing. So yeah, it's something I enjoy.
That's awesome.
Trying to do.
And you recorded it at Castle, right here in Franklin.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, it's a great studio. It was built by Al Capone back in the day. You know, he had this route he used to take from Chicago to New Orleans, and so Franklin's kind of right in the middle. So this was his like midway, halfway point, and they turned it into a recording studio in the 80s, and Springsteen's recorded there, and it kind of had a reputation as being like the rock studio in Nashville, especially in those days. And I lived just up the street, so it was really easy to just roll on down and you know, track the album, and it's a great sounding studio. It's got stone walls, like it's actually a castle.
It's a castle,
with
yeah.
turrets.
For everybody that doesn't know, it's seriously a castle.
So the stone gives the drums a great sound, and I'm really glad we
very
chose
resonant.
to work
I
there.
bet, yeah. Jeez, that's unbelievable. So as far as songwriters, who did you work with on this record? Because I heard a few names, but
yeah, well, I went through a process choosing the songs for this album. I wrote over 80 songs that year, and so I wrote with a lot of really great people in Nashville. One of the reasons I love living here is there's so many studios, there's so many studio musicians, there's so many songwriters, and you know, I mean, I just feel like I'm in a community of people who love music as much as me. But my co-writers for the album, Gary Nicholson and I, wrote 4 tracks. And Gary's a Grammy Award-winning songwriter. He's written a lot of songs of particular note in the blues realm. People like Buddy Guy and Bonnie Raitt.
Wow.
And, you know, number ones for a bunch of people. Vince Gillen. Great guy, great. He's just one of those feel kind of musicians.
Oh, definitely.
Everything he plays and writes and sings just has a great feel.
That's all what it's about.
So when we get together, it's really fun. I wrote the last single we put out is called "Do You Want It to Be Me." I wrote that with my friend Blue Miller, who unfortunately passed away last year.
Oh no!
So it's a special song because it was one of the last songs we wrote together, and another friend who I wrote the second last track with, Bat McGrath. He's pretty ill at the moment, so.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many wonderful, beautifully talented musicians and writers here, and I really enjoyed writing with a variety of people, and the songs that made the album were the most special of that 80.
Wow, yeah, that's what's so great about being in Nashville is that there's just, you could throw a rock and hit a great songwriter. That's just, it's unbelievable. Wow, that's so cool. So, what's your favorite part about being able to work as a musician full time? Just like, what's your favorite part about it? Just being able to tour all the time, or?
Yeah, I love the autonomy of being able to spend time on what I feel is important. So, that's one of the reasons I like being an independent musician. I don't have a label telling me what they need and what they want me to do. I can kind of orchestrate things in a way that I feel is best for the craft. So, I love every element of being a musician. I love practicing. I love the travel, although there's a fine line between that. That can become too intense potentially. But I'm at a time in my life now where I enjoy it.
Oh, definitely.
I love the studio experience. I mean, to be honest, that's probably my favorite, is being in the studio.
Oh, definitely.
With great musicians.
Oh, yes.
Recording songs. I love writing. I've really fallen in love with writing. It used to be kind of stressful to me because I'd turn up to a session kind of nervous about my ideas or self-conscious, but I feel like I've really learned so much about that process, and now I really enjoy that collaborative experience. And I enjoy, going around meeting people. I enjoy interviews. The whole process, I was always afraid of getting burnt out on music when I was younger, because I committed 1,000% to music. I left school when I was 15 to just play music. So I had no backup plan, although, I feel like if you can figure out how to play the guitar well, you can pretty much figure out anything.
Oh, I'll give you that.
It's the same with it. A friend of mine was telling me they have a daughter who's like a gymnastics champion, ultra champion. I'm like, well, if you can figure out how to do, 20 flips in a row, you can figure out how to do anything.
Oh, definitely.
It's one of the great things about art and sport. But for me, I was always afraid of getting burnt out, but that has not happened. In fact, the opposite. I love music more than I ever have. And part of that is I get to hang around with people who are great mentors, who are further on down the road. Tommy Emmanuel's been a great mentor to me, as has the great list of songwriters I've worked with. So being around good people and in a good place has really helped me just stay stimulated and excited about everything to do with music.
That's so inspiring. That's like to anybody watching, I mean, that's unbelievable that you can say that instead of getting burnt out, you love music more today. Because there are so many there are so many musicians here in Nashville that they will feel that way. They'll go do the Broadway thing, or they'll be playing covers for 4 or 5 hours a night, and they can get a little burnt on it. And to hear that you're doing it all independently is just so much cooler.
Yeah, I did a class. I hosted a guitar workshop the other day at Belmont University, and I was speaking to a bunch of 20-year-old guitar majors, and I came in there. I had an email that came through from a fellow who sent me an email, and he basically, the gist of it was, I'm 26. I graduated with a degree in guitar, and I just can't find any work, and I don't know what to do with myself. Can you give me any advice how to get out there more? And I said to these 20-year-olds, I said, I'm so glad that I picked the right people to copy, to emulate.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of musicians who are jaded and bitter and have just a bad attitude. Not so much in Nashville, although those people exist, but you know, I'm from a kind of a downtrodden place. You know, Kempsey in New South Wales, Australia, is considered a socially disadvantaged area according to the interwebs, and you know, I saw a lot of that, but I think the thing that I'm really so grateful that I did was I chose to emulate the best. So Tommy, who's an amazing entertainer, he's one of the happiest, most joy-filled people you would ever meet, as well as, you know, the myriad of great musicians. So I think finding the right people and emulating them is really the key, because if you get into a rut where you're you know, frustrated with music, because music can definitely disappoint you, but if you get into that kind of a rut, I think that comes from listening to the wrong people and taking advice from the wrong people, and kind of surrounding yourself with the wrong people. So I feel really passionate about sharing that message, because I've experienced so much joy, and my life. Honestly, my life changed when I heard Tommy and Phil Emmanuel play together. I was like 11.
Jeez.
It was like, how do I do that? How do I get on that stage and have that much power and that much command of the instrument? And I was really uncomfortable because I didn't know how they were doing it. I was like, how on earth is he getting all those sounds with, you know, with just those two hands?
Yeah.
So, I think that's really, really something I feel passionate about that message.
That's great. Yeah, Tommy is just charisma. I just saw him at the Franklin Theater. We were there, and he's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're just left speechless, and your mouth is open, and the whole thing. You're just lost in it. So, how many tour dates you got going on this year?
Well, on my calendar, I have over 100, which is
wow.
I'm really happy about. I like to stay busy, and you know, that's the thing with playing songs that are quite intricate. You know, the more you play them, the less you need to worry about them, because
definitely.
You know, it takes a while to get a new arrangement to performance level, and it usually involves messing it up a few times on stage. So to have a lot of tour dates, I'm really excited about, because it gives me a chance to flex my musicianship.
Definitely.
And go out there. And I'm doing some dates in Europe, which I haven't been back to Europe in a couple years. So that'll be really exciting. And I'm doing a lot of headline dates promoting the album specifically this summer. So throughout June, July, August.
And you're doing the Vail, Colorado thing with Tommy, right?
I am doing
that's great.
Tommy Emmanuel Guitar Camp. I mean, I'm probably more excited about that than anybody, I would say. any of the attendees, I just love being around him and seeing him just be so generous with people, and just rubs off on everybody.
Oh, definitely.
I've done 2 camps with Tommy in the past, and it's a great experience.
God, yeah, he's so much fun. What advice would you have for someone that's like wanting to follow your footsteps, like the next 11-year-old Joe Robinson that's sitting there watching the video? What advice would you give them?
Well, I think as far as guitar playing, a few tips. One is, I love to practice in front of a mirror. I think that's really useful, because I see too many guitarists get on stage and they get up there and play and they just look down at their hands, and it's totally disengaging. But if you can look at a mirror, you kind of just get used to looking ahead. So looking out at the audience is a good tip. Also, practicing with a metronome regularly is a really good tip.
Definitely.
So, you know, when I was a teenager, I was probably about 14, I had my first experience in the recording studio, and I realized that I didn't sound like I thought I sounded. And it was really depressing. I was just so frustrated. I was like, I was speeding up and slowing down, and there was notes that were too loud, notes that weren't fretted clearly. So I went home and I set my alarm every day for 4 a.m.
Jeez.
And I used to get up before school and practice. And I think that, people thought I was crazy. They were like, what? Why do you sleep on the school bus for an hour a day? I was like, it's because I got up early to practice. And these days, like, I don't drink, I don't do any drugs. I feel like I can function way better as a musician without those things. So I think knowing yourself and figuring out what works for you, and finding the right people to surround yourself, the right mentors, and working really hard working hard and consistently over a good substantial period of time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen in a year.
Oh, definitely.
And that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to sing and write songs, and I dived into that. When I was kind of just starting to get known as a guitarist, was because I knew that it would take me years to kind of get to a point where I was, when that all could be seen as one thing, all those elements that I do. So I think, thinking kind of long term, and dreaming big, and working really hard, practicing every day, and surrounding yourself with good people. That would be my like little.
That's fantastic. That's great advice. I love that. So do you want to play your most recent single for us?
Sure. Let me grab a tape over here.
All right, cool.
Yeah, this song's called "Do You Want It to Be Me," and I've really been enjoying playing this one out.
It's a great song.
Thank you.
Joe Robinson, everybody.
We should take it slow, 'cause I know only fools rush in, and I've been here before, and I can tell that you haven't been. I see it in your eyes, girl. There's no denying I can feel the heat. There's only one first love. Do you want it to be me? There's only one first kiss, one first dance, and one first time you take this chance. And the heart's first choice ain't always what it should be. There's only one first love. Do you want it to be me? There's only one first kiss, one first dance, and one first time you get to take this chance. And the heart's first choice ain't always what it should be. There's only one first love. Do you want it to be me?
Nice. Jeez. Joe Robinson, everybody.
Thanks,
Undertones, out now. Go stream it, go buy it, go check out his website. He'll be playing the Franklin Theater tonight at 8?
Yes.
At 8.
8 p.m.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, Jason. Thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate it.
Anytime. You need to come back more.